Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm
Good
audible.
morning.
Good morning. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, first of all, thank you so much for joining in. And today's workshop, I'll let you know about the process of a vision board. But before that, I'll just quickly introduce myself. My name is Dr. Riya Das, and I'm associated with Emojar. And I can see a lot of people who are also known to us for a pretty long time now. Welcome, everyone. And since today is the last day of the year, I thought of doing this workshop with you all in order to gather together all your thoughts and visualize something good which can come up in the next year and further. So let's get started. Before we start off with the actual thing, what we are going to do, I hope you have all got your supplies with you. Give me a thumbs up if you have already had it, or if you don't have, just quickly rush and get a few stationery items where you can just note it down. Maybe today we'll not be able to go through that entire procedure, but yes, I'll show you tips and tricks as to how you can assemble everything, because this generally takes 1.5 hours to 2 hours time to completely get it done. Okay, so in the meanwhile, what I would like you to do is, maybe in the text, or if you can switch on your cameras, it would be really good. You can talk about one thing which you want to leave behind in 2021 before you step into the next year, which is tomorrow. What is one thing which you would like to leave behind? Okay, if you don't want to share, that's fine, but maybe you can note it down somewhere. Okay, it can be a personality trait, it can be a person, it can be a habit, it can be something which you have been really not liking it in this year. Anything which is possible to leave out, anything which can make a huge difference if you leave out. Okay, so if you want to put it in the text, you're most welcome. You can type it out. Okay, procrastination syncs with what we are going to do today. What else? Um, for me, it would be like I want to be more social, more less of again procrastination and more of work. But at the same time, I want to de-stress also. So these are the few things which I want to leave behind, which can make a lot of difference in my lifestyle. Negative thoughts, anxiety, short temper. That's great. Okay, thank you for sharing, all of you. Fine. So this keeping this in mind, we will start off with today's session. I'm going to quickly share my screen and give you a few tidbits as to what vision board is and how we are going to implement it in our counseling setup, or even for a self development. I'm pretty sure all of you here are professionals in the field of psychology. If not, then also it's fine, no issues. Anyone can take up this. And I'll show you how you can use it with your clients as well as for your personal development. Okay, I hope my screen is visible to all of you. All right. So, vision board, basically, this term came into existence in the year in basically the 2000s. Okay, so this woman, she's called Rhonda Byron, and she came up with the book called The Secret. Over there, she talked about law of attraction. Those who don't know what law of attraction is, it is basically the capacity to think positive, and whatever you give back to the universe, you get it. Okay, so if you're giving back positive, you're getting positive. If you're giving negative thoughts, the universe gives you the negative results. So based on this particular principle, she wrote this book, and it became a huge success, and it was hugely propagated. From there, the concept of vision boards came into existence. So this is one of the landmarks. If I go back now, what is a vision board? Basically, vision board comprises of a series of pictures, stickers or certain quotes or certain memoirs which you have collected maybe through your travel or with your partner or with your children, or even for yourself, like tickets and passes and all. So all these are assembled on cardboard or on sheets of paper, or maybe on a diary or a journal which you generally write in, and then you assemble the entire thing together, and you give yourself a positive vision, like these are the things which hold me together, these are the things I want to work on, and these are the things which I would love to have it in the future. Okay, so this is the concept of a vision board. Why vision? Because it's visually presented. Unlike writing it down like journaling and all, you generally collect pictures, quotes, and then put it together as a collage. Okay, so this is the general structure. And you can get pictures once you print them, or you have newspapers or certain stickers, or maybe from the magazines, whichever you are resonating with. You generally collect them and then place it according to your plan. So what we are going to do is, today we are going to go through the process of creating a vision board. Now, what are the importance? What is the objective? General objective is to have a clear vision or a clear picture of what I want as an individual. Generally what happens is we often lose out on focus. Like I might be thinking, I want this, I want that in life, I want a big house or a car, or maybe I want to go vacationing somewhere. These are the material needs. There are other things also which I want in my personality. Okay, so these things, what often we do is we just daydream about it. Like we just keep on thinking, thinking, and thinking, never actually putting it to effect. So, this vision board will be a constant reminder to you that you need to work on it. Okay, it's not magic, as the history says that it's done on cosmic vibrations and this and that. We are not going into that, because most of us at our age group, even younger or even older, we are not very connected with spiritualism all the time. Maybe out of 28 over here, I maybe we can just find 4 or 5 people who are spiritually inclined and believe in these cosmic energies, which is absolutely true. But you'll find most of your population not believing in the same. So if you give a logic of about the book, the magic, it won't create any effect. They will not even put in their effort in building a vision board. So once you're dealing with clients, obviously you'll get a vibe as to how spiritually inclined they are or how much they are. Accordingly, you can either push the vision board, actual vision board, concept, or you can twist it around and put it in a way that it clarifies your goals. Okay, so whatever we are daydreaming on, it becomes a reality for us. Now, our brain is a very funny place which we live with. Basically, what it does is, once we are just visualizing it, it becomes as if it's a dream, and dreams are to be forgotten or rejected from our mind. But when we are making it concrete, like tangible, I can hold this piece of paper, I can hold this piece of cardboard, I can hold this pen, this becomes my reality here and now. So the brain learns to believe in what you have put in through your physical effort, through what is tangible, and then it starts working that way. Okay, so this is the entire concept of vision board in counseling. Okay, it's not only just putting in on paper and then forgetting about it, it's also how much effort, conscious effort you're putting in order to make your dreams come true. Okay, I'll come to the other parts also, like what all things you have to put in. So, going by the first point on the screen, it's about inspiring and motivating you to work harder. Second is, on a subconscious level, it works because, as I told you, the brain tricks itself into believing it. Like once I start putting effort, putting in on paper, and becomes a physical element for me, when I just bring together all my thoughts and put it on paper, it becomes a reality for me. And then subconsciously, you start working on it. Okay, so this is the magic which is happening. And more on the neuro linguistic programming level, if we can say that the RAS system, the reticular activating system, which is responsible for filtering out certain stimuli from the environment, like whatever is important for us, we generally pay focus or we pay attention to it. Rest of it we reject. So RAS system, this system is responsible for filtering out the information. Okay, so what happens here is once the RAS is activated every time you're working or every time you're viewing your vision board, what happens, those things becomes your prime most importance, and then you start again subconsciously working towards it. If you do not have the RAS, there would be an information overload, because then your brain cannot process what is important, what is not. Okay, so this is the science behind vision boards. Vision board is often also called life boards, but we'll only stick to a year's vision. Then maybe once you start getting used to it, you can always stretch it out to your lifespan, right? I think people are just waiting in the room. I'll minimize. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay. So next, if I come to the next major points to remember before we start off is, it's important to focus on feelings rather than certain elements in the picture. When you're working with the pictures, when you look through your magazine or newspaper, you see whether you can connect with the picture which is there. It's not only the physical element which you'll be seeing, it's also how emotionally attracted towards the particular picture you're getting at. Generally, what we do is we have a lot of magazines laid out on the floor, and then people just pick it up randomly and then flip through the pages and tear off or cut it out, whatever they are resonating with. Okay, something which they even don't like, but you feel as if you're attracted towards it, that becomes an important subconscious trigger for you. Okay, certain things become meaningful once you're attracted towards it. Yeah, you cannot say that I have a particular meaning to it, but once you start putting it all together, you will see that certain messages are coming up which you will be able to understand, decipher, and work for it. Okay, now number 2 is very important, setting realistic goals. Like, for instance, if I put something which is totally absurd, okay, on my vision board, which is really not possible at this moment. Maybe if I have to tell you I want to go for a world tour because I love traveling, it's not possible for me right now. Maybe yes, in the future, once I have enough money and resources and time, but not immediately. So I have to be very, very realistic with my 1 year plan. Whatever is achievable but difficult at the same time, it's really very difficult to achieve that, but I'm sure I'll be able to do it if I put in much effort. It can expand a little. Maybe if I feel that yes, maybe I will visit 2 countries in the next year, it is possible, it is not impossible. But if I say I want to go for a world tour for 6 months, it's not possible. Okay, so goals can be expandable, but not to a limit that it goes beyond our reality, which the brain is not used to at all. Okay, so accordingly, whenever we are brainstorming certain goals, we'll have to put a check as to whether they are attainable or not in the near future. Okay, maybe certain big goals which you have can be parked for later, but since we are just working on a year's plan, put it more of a realistic goal which you want to achieve. Yes, smart goals. Thank you for sharing the term smart goals. Not too many goals, because we'll be over. Okay, vision board aa gaya to sab ho jayega, wish complete. No, not at all. You have to have few of them listed when you're starting off. Once you get used to it, you can always have it more and more filled in, but start off with few of them which you can handle. And there should be a mixture of goals, like very tiny ones to bigger ones. It can be spaced across. Okay, tiny ones, why I'm telling you, even tiny goals are often overlooked because of our procrastination habit, and especially during this lockdown, we are so much drained out of energy. We have a lot of work, but so much drained out of energy that we cannot even do certain simple tasks, day to day tasks in a proper way. So listing them out is also very important. Okay, and I told you the next year we'll just target the next year and work for it. Okay, so these are the points to remember. Okay, these are the materials which you'll be requiring, which I've already mailed to you. Certain magazines, newspapers. It may not be even colorful. It can be just black and white printouts. It's up to you. There's an open choice of materials, mediums. You can use paints. You can use tapes. You can use tickets which you have collected. You know, anything which you have, which makes meaning to you, gives meaning to you. Generally, vision boards are done on hard boards, but if you're comfortable, like I generally use these spiral bound copies, which is easy to go through, because I generally do my art journaling in this, and I'm sure that I'll have that scope of going through it often. Generally what happens is, if you do it on a very big board, it becomes very cumbersome to store it, and I'm pretty sure you don't want other people also to come and see your vision board all the time. Okay, so it's a very personal thing which you want to be get done. So it's a good idea to start small. You can have sections for each of your visions, and then maybe you can assemble together in a spiral bound copy. You can do it on A4 sheets, you can do it on a chart paper. So it's totally optional which medium you're going to choose. If you have a soft board, you can pin it up, but then again, people generally are not comfortable, other people coming and prying into what they want to do in life. Okay, so if you can store it somewhere where it is easily accessible. Easy accessing is very important here, because you need to go through it time and again. If not daily, at least weekly thrice, so that you are reminded of your goals often. Okay, you can have stickers also, you can have pinboard material, anything will do. Okay, that's an open choice, absolutely open choice. Generally we do not write much, but it's more of a picture, because pictures are more easy to remember than words. Okay, that's another reason behind it. Now the process. Okay, so hopefully you have your materials. I'll just quickly go through the process, and then we'll try to do a little bit in the workshop, and then you can take it forward after the workshop. So the first process is setting the mood. This I feel is very important, but again, it's optional. You can set the mood in a way that you can put on some good music. I generally have some music playing on while I'm doing it, because that activates your whole brain and it relaxes you. So any kind of music which you resonate with will do. You can have certain candles burning, or you can have certain lights around you which you feel comfortable in. So set up your environment in your own way, because that kind of induces some relaxation. Okay, and it will initiate more of growth and more of clear thinking, more of imaginative thinking into you, right? So right now it's not possible to set up the mood. So since we are all online, so once you're doing it in with your clients or with yourself later on, clear up all the clutter around your desk. Make sure that you don't have unnecessary items around you, and whichever way you want to decorate your workspace, you can. Next one is brainstorming. Now we'll do this together. Brainstorming is a phase where you are just randomly writing down your goals, not filtering it out through whether it's attainable or not. Whatever I wish, I wanted, whether it's real, unreal, I don't care. Brainstorming is that. Brainstorming phase is that, basically. Okay, so once you're brainstorming, I'll give you 5 minutes to brainstorm, and then you can write down on a rough sheet of paper, and we'll then take it from there. Okay, so 5 minutes on this we'll spend. It shouldn't take you 5 minutes, it should take approximately 2 to 3 minutes, because it should be quick. Okay, so any facet of your life, whether it's your career, your education, your health, your beauty, your well-being, your relationships, your finances, then your self development, your achievements, anything which comes to your mind, your travel, all these you have to just randomly put down, not thinking what is right and what is wrong. Okay, so let's get started. I'm also writing mine. You don't need to share it in the group. If someone wants to share, they're most welcome. Any questions till now? Anyone has any questions? Oh my god, so many people are still waiting. Any questions? Um, so can a vision board have multiple goals? Yes, definitely they can have multiple goals. As I just told you, there are different areas. So you can only work on one area or you can work on multiple areas. I would generally prefer to work one area on one page and then move on to the other pages so that it gives me more clarity because the space is also less. If you're working on a big chart paper, you'll have more scope to put in your goals. But again, a word of caution, don't put too many into the board because then it becomes just a chaos. Okay, so brainstorming would
Um,
be to put any number of goals on your paper. Yes.
I had a question here. Let's say if our child, my child is small, okay? So is
Mhm.
it okay if I make a vision chart for him, which he can just, like the qualities he should be, I mean, just like he's loving, he's lovable, or he's patient, or he's friendly, etc. kind of thing?
Yeah, you if you're doing it for your child, you have to do it for yourself. That I vision my child to be this way.
Okay, it should be for our, uh,
Yes, you cannot do a
on our
vision
this thing.
board for someone else. It's a very personal thing. Okay, if your child is doing for a child of say 7 years, it's very hard to visualize certain things because they are going
Hmm.
through a phase of only observation. They don't have creative thinking skills. So, if you
Hmm.
want some qualities in your child, you have to visualize it for yourself. Okay,
Okay.
say for instance, my child is extremely empathetic, my child is extremely friendly. So, that way you have to put down your phrases.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions? Can I start with one goal in mind and then build on with other goals? Yes, definitely, because this brainstorming period generally it should take 5 minutes, but then again, you can extend as much as time you want. Randomly write down what you want in life for the next 1 year. More or less, you can keep on adding to it. Okay. Next step. I hope all of you are done, or you need a little bit more time. I can wait.
Ma'am, I had a question.
Yes, so
Yes,
three.
ma'am. So yeah, ma'am. So can we like put in long-term goals in our in the vision board, or should we like keep only for a year's period?
Uh, Today we are just doing it for a year, but if you get used to the the process, it would be okay to stretch it. You can always put it, no harm in it. But since we have already done it, so you can always incorporate. For the ones who are just starting off, it's easier to put a 1 year goal.
All right.
You know,
Okay.
it
Okay.
becomes much, they get more clarity with things. And once things are coming up to the surface and happening in reality, they become much more firmer with their visualizations.
Yes. Okay. Right.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
that's why I said just 1 year for the time being. So if I may proceed, you can always carry on with this process. You can take a lot of time if you want to brainstorm further. But the next one is a little, you have to be a little focused on this. Get clear and short list. Like from this entire list, maybe you have 50 of them brainstormed. You can boil it down to a 10 or a 12 for your vision board, okay, which are realistic. It can be more, of course it can be more, but just for an example, boil it down to whichever is really going to help you out. Okay, certain things can be parked for the later. It's not that you're discarding the entire list, but from there you're picking out the best of it, okay, which are more realistic, which are more achievable in the next 1 year. Fine. So mixture of all these, you now shortlist, and what you do next is write it down as if it's already occurred. Say, for instance, I'm still struggling with my driving skills. I want to learn driving, so I will be writing I can drive. Okay, or I'm driving to such and such place when I'm putting it on my vision board. So it's already as if I know how to drive. So certain things which you're shortlisting, you'll have to put it as it is already occurred or it's already done for you. Okay, it's not that I want this and this. I want maybe a salary of 1.5 lakh. Not that. I already am earning 1.5 lakh. So if you want something, it should not be phrased in that way. It should be as if it's already happening. Okay. So you are actually training your brain to believe that this is actually happening with you. You already are the owner and you're feeling good of it, good about it. Okay. Any questions on this third step? Getting clear and shortlisting. Okay. So should I move on then? The next step, visual scanning, is basically whatever material you have in front of you. You need not be an artist, first of all, for art therapy work and these kinds of work. You need not be an artist. You just put together whatever you can. It can be simply certain quotes, it can be symbols, it can be doodles which you have drawn, it can be certain stickers which you have cut out, it can be certain magazine cutouts, it can be any scrap paper, it can be tickets or memoirs from somewhere. So it's just about assembling the entire thing. So go through your entire mediums and then just pick and choose whatever you are connecting with. Okay, whatever you're drawn towards, whatever would suit your list of items which you've just written it out. Okay, visual scanning is very important at this step because you are engaging in this particular activity. You are focusing more, you're training your brain to focus more on certain visual items which you're drawn towards, which is making meaning to you. The fifth step is assembling. Do it in, again, in whichever way you feel like. I would generally choose 1 page per vision, per area of vision board, which I'll discuss in the next slide. You can use it on a chart paper. You can put everything together and put it on one paper itself. And then the last step, after you are done with your vision board, after assembling, after focusing on certain things, what you need to do is every single day, in the morning and before you go off to sleep, just take it out and flip through it and feel as if things are actually happening with you. You have achieved whatever you wanted. You have the goals which you have listed it down, you're already having it, and how you're feeling. So attach your feelings towards the entire process. If not possible every day, you can do it maybe twice or thrice a week. Just go through it and start feeling good about the thing. Okay, so this is the last step. And it would be great if you once put down on your board that these are the things which I would love to have in 2022, and I'm already having it, and what is the process I have gone through in order to achieve those. Say, for instance, I know how to drive. So, what are the things I did in order to achieve that skill? So, do a mental calculation, and if possible, write a to do in case you want to reach that goal in reality. Okay, you've already gone through the process. So, your brain will tell you to do it again and again and again. Okay, that deals with your procrastination. Say, for instance, I have to go out and practice driving. So, I've not been doing this all this while. I know if I practice I can drive. So what I will do is reinitiate the thing and then start practicing it every day so that I achieve my goal. So that kinds of motivates you, that kinds of pushes you to work harder. Okay, that's the key element in vision boards. Any questions till now? This is the gist of the process. Okay, now these are the particular areas where you can work on. It can be career related goals. It can be relationship related goals. People who are having trouble with their spouse or their partners may start understanding how to improve their relationships, or how would they feel better in that particular relationship. Or if they are visualizing the same, what are the things they have already done in order to revive that relationship. About yourself, self care has been wholly neglected all this while during the pandemic, especially because even small things we don't have the energy to do it. So, about yourself, what are the transformations? What are the grooming things which you want to include in your self care routine? What would be the health benefits if you want to reduce weight, if you want to put on weight? What are the methods where you can achieve that? Travel goals, again, that can be as per your needs. Finances, what can be my financial goal and how can I achieve it? Spiritual, again, it's optional. Those who are spiritually inclined can include this section or maybe totally leave it. Then comes adventure, because again, adventure is what we are missing out these times. Excitement, adventure are wholly missing out. So, what are the areas which you are drawn towards and what you can work on for becoming more adventurous or more, excited about things? Generally, what is happening now is we are going through a flat effect. Nothing anymore excites us. Maybe most of us, not all of you, but once you start planning or once you start visualizing having fun, you will also visualize yourself in a particular activity which you want to do. That can give you important cues as to how you're going to go about becoming excited and happy about things. And lastly, your achievements, small, big, huge, it can be any form, and how you're going to achieve them. What would be the coursework, the pathway towards it. If you have anything else apart from this, maybe you can put it down in the chat box. I would love to see that. Anything else apart from these categories, you're most welcome to include. These are the broad general categories which we have. Career and education comes in the same section, because if you're working with students, then you can have it as career as well as studies. Any questions so far? Socializing, yes, absolutely. Socializing is a very good point which you can include. Generally, people who have difficulty socializing with the outside world, and especially again due to the pandemic, they are kind of getting into a cocoon or a shell further on. And now we don't feel like even socializing. Most of you may be going through this. So, what are the small things which can make a difference? Environmental wellness, absolutely. So, these are your personal goals, anything which you personally relate. Okay, the environment is one of them. How you can make better choices. How would you see your environment to be? How would you visualize it? Even charity work, if you want to include, those all come under personal goals. So this we have already gone through. Okay, now criticism, why I had to put this, because this particular method had gone through a lot of criticism as well as a lot of popularity as well. But if we go by the scientific methods and more focus on problem solving and taking appropriate actions rather than just creative visualization. It works the best. Once I send you this PPT, you can refer back to this particular link and read the entire article about why it was criticized. Okay, because one group of students, they were asked not to work hard on their project, just to put on vision board that they are getting good marks and then forget about it. They just saw it, they never did anything to improve their grades. But the second group, what they did was, apart from making the vision board, they also visualize themselves getting engaged in certain activities and actually doing those particular things in order to achieve their desired grades. So that made a lot of difference. So in vision board, if you really wanted to work, apart from the cosmic connections which we all talked about, it's all about problem solving. Again, once you put in the goals, how did I achieve it? Since we are talking about present tense, how did I achieve it? So the mind learns how to problem solve and also to take appropriate actions to motivate you to get up and get going. Okay, it's not only about thinking in your head or visualizing, it's also that you do it. Okay, so that will keep your pace of achieving what you want in life. This I wanted to include because you would be thinking that how vision board can be helpful for individuals or in a counseling setup. So it's basically when you're dealing with clients who are having major procrastination issues, they just don't want to start off anywhere. This can be a great outlet in order to put down their thoughts on paper, on a tangible surface, and then maybe take up small bits and pieces and work on it. Okay, they'll get that energy or motivation to start small. Starting small is important for people who are going through procrastination stress. Procrastination stress is basically going on in circles. Like, we don't feel like doing something, we keep it for the next day, and the next day comes and we keep it for the next day, and keeps on going on till a time when we feel totally stressed out, totally squeezed, and then we don't have energy to execute the task, never actually doing the task in reality. So in order to break that cycle, it's important that you start small. Start small with something creative which will open up your mind, open up your creativity channels also, and then you can start de-stressing from it and start working on it. Second point is detachment from environment. It's a sense of depersonalization and derealization. Sometimes when we are overwhelmed with a lot of information, when we are overstressed, when we are at the phase of burnout or beyond, generally what happens is we start feeling numb. We are in the environment, but we are somewhere disconnected. This is a very common phenomena which we have come across all this while during the lockdown, because then our brains are tired in order to process the information overload is happening. So what the brain does is detach you physically from your environment. They make you numb. Okay, it's more like as if you're on alcohol and drugs. You are a little dizzy about things around you. You are understanding, you are reciprocating, but somewhere there is a thin glass in front of you where you cannot reach out. Okay, so this will help to again make you become more mindful, to be in the present. And when you are handling your materials, you're seeing it, when you're smelling the candles, when you are cutting things, when you're gluing things, that makes you more attached to reality. That will attach again you back to your real self. Okay, and help you kind of deal with that detachment which was going on. Okay, so anything which will take a lot of effort to put in, assemble, visualize, write, stick, paste, cut, all these things will help you to come back from that detachment. Okay, revive you basically. Third one, multitasking. People feel that multitasking is very good, but trust me, it's a sign of an attention deficit. Okay, because while you are doing a lot of tasks together, you're not actually focusing on one particular thing for a very long time. And what you're doing is just doing it half heartedly because you have to shift back to the other one. Otherwise, you feel anxiety and stress and uncomfortable. So this method will actually kind of pull you together to one point and give you certain segregations to work on. Okay, so this is the most important goal which I have. I can work on this and then move on to the next. So planning is very important for multitaskers. So if you don't have planning, you'll do multitasking throughout your life, and that can induce a lot of stress. Okay, anxiety issues when you're handling mediums, when you're handling a lot of things together, colors together, that gives you a venting out medium for people who are suffering through anxiety. Clarity of goals will also give them clarity as to how they are going to deal with themselves. Okay, so while you are in a counseling session, while the client is putting down certain things for themselves, you can always pick up that note and talk about it. Like, how can you feel better? Like, you have put that I want to get rid, I am I am already done with my anxiety issues. Like, how have you achieved it? What are the things which you have done in order to achieve that? So that can be a very client centered approach. Okay, so that is one major thing where you can help out in picking up certain cues and then working on it. Okay, should multitasking, it's not about avoiding multitasking, but generally, research says that multitasking is not a very healthy option for individuals, whoever is doing it, because then it kind of lets you work on a lot of things, but you never actually become an expert in one particular thing, and you never actually compose yourself to finish it off. It may give rise to a lot of anxiety. Okay, yes, divided attention, because then your mind is always working. It never rests. I have to complete this, I have to complete that. Oh my God, I'm stuck with this. I cannot work on this anymore. I have to shift and go back and finish that work. So it's like a chaos which is going on all the time, which is not healthy in the long run. So have smaller tasks, even bigger tasks, have fewer of them rather than having so many together. So planning, deadlines, all these things will help multitaskers a lot to deal with their issues. Also, learning to take commitments one by one. Yes, monotasking needs to be encouraged, absolutely. So it can be a lot of tasks you're doing, but over stretching it over a longer period of time, and also prioritizing. So through this you can always prioritize smaller goals, bigger goals, medium goals. You can prioritize and put it on your vision board. People who have a lot of things, maybe you can divide it in quarters, the year in quarters. Like in the first quarter, I would love to have these things, and I already have it visualized like that. So it becomes much more easier. Handling becomes much more easier. Now, dealing with hopelessness, this particular method also deals with a lot of sadness and hopelessness and depression issues, because then once you write it down, once you are, you know, clear about your goals, that gives a lot of enthusiasm, that gives a lot of hope for the people. Especially if you can team it up, you can encourage writing quotes which are very very powerful and meaningful. Okay, there are certain quote books which you get, you can refer to them. There are thousands of quotes on the internet where you can just assemble it and print it out. Affirmations, absolutely, affirmations will also work wonders along with your vision board. So you can encourage clients who are going through this phase, maybe even for yourself or your family. You can write down certain things which are really really powerful and meaningful to you. Okay, that may give you a light of hope in the future, and you can work towards it. Relationship issues also, this is a very good technique if couples can work together. It can be two different vision boards. It's better if you have two different vision boards, and then they sit together in couple counseling. They sit together and see where their goals are differing. Okay, so that can be a great medium to open up, great medium to start off discussions, because marital issues, couple issues, generally people don't want to talk about their personal stuff. So this can be a great way to start off. This can be one of the tools to start off. Uh, the next few things can be students, children. Children beyond 10 years can safely work on it. Below 10 years, it's a little difficult. And as ma'am was talking about that, I want my child to do it. Maybe you can put it in your vision board and then try to figure out that how will my child behave like this? What are the things I need to change in myself, and what are the things no, or if I change certain things in myself, how would my child react to it? So that way you can do it. Or else children can have very simple vision boards, but that has to be assisted, that has to be directive. Okay, it cannot be non-directive by nature. And adolescents vision boards, they might be a little reluctant in the beginning, but if you can start off with doodling and fun stuff like color psychology, doodling, and the symbolizations of in art therapy, they generally take interest and then start engaging. This can also be done in groups for teenagers, which I've seen that they enjoy doing that. Okay, so these are a few things. Again, career planning, in career counseling you can include this, because this will give again a good clarity as to what goals the adolescence is having. Because sometimes the adolescent may not have the aptitude for certain things, but they still put in that I want to become this. So when you start brainstorming as to how would you go about achieving these goals, they will generally open up, and that can be again enlightening session for them. They come to know about their hindrances or their limitations before putting it up on the vision board. Okay, so maybe you can follow up every 3 months as to how your board is going on, how you're working towards it. That can be a good channel or a medium to start conversation with difficult teenagers. Okay, especially those who are not studying, those who are not serious about their career. I generally give vision board alongside career counseling when we are doing it in groups, because that's how they enjoy themselves working on certain scrapbooking methods and all. So I guess this was it. Oh my god, so many people are still waiting, but we are done with the workshop. Okay, so I would take your questions. And I hope this was of some use to you. And I would love to see your work when you are done with your vision board. If you want to share it, of course, if you want to share it. And we'll also share our vision board so that you can just get an example. Any questions? Anything you would like to ask?
Ma'am, what about uncertainty? Like,
Uncertainty? Which way?
like for example, supposedly I had used this vision board for my client for like in 2019 for 2020, but then 2020 was the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if my client is just calling me, okay, I had planned all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm just sitting at home and not doing anything. So it's
Mm-hmm.
a bit of like an uncertainty. So how to deal with such situation?
See, as I told you, vision board is
Hmm.
basically not only about visualizing. See, what the method which we are using is creative visualization, as we do it in counseling also. But
Hmm.
alongside, we also have to enforce that the goal should be realistic. The goal should be, worked upon as if it's already happening. And also, how did you achieve it? As I gave you an example, like I want to learn driving, I still am struggling with it, but I'm visualizing myself I can drive. When I'm putting on my vision board I can drive, that means I have already learned it. So how did I learn it? See, last year I also wrote that I want to drive, but I could not achieve that. So this year I'm introspecting why I could not achieve it. Okay. So once I introspected, I saw that I did not put in much effort, because driving would need my skills. Okay. It wouldn't just come to me suddenly one fine day. So what I need to do this year is to get into more practice sessions, more practice hours, so that I can achieve my goal. So this is what is called problem solving.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of things will happen automatically, because then
Hmm.
our mind is wired in the subconscious to initiate certain actions. But bigger goals, certain bigger goals which are there, we need to understand how we have reached it. So the process, once you know that I've reached through these process, I'll start working on it.
Okay. Yep.
Okay,
Thank you.
so you can always ask the client as to what went wrong, or how did, if you imagine yourself to be in that particular
Hmm.
goal already, how have you achieved it?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you so much for all your kind comments, and I was really excited to meet all of you. I'm like doing this workshop after a long break because I was also struggling with a lot of procrastination myself, but this gave me a lot of energy to come up with more workshops. Thank you all for joining in. And a little information, I'll be sending you the recording on YouTube. And also, we'll send the link on YouTube for your certificates. So there will be few basic questions from the workshop, which you would need to answer and submit through a Google form. And then we'll send your certificates accordingly. Okay, so thanks a lot again for joining in, and wish you all a very happy new year, and hope all your goals come true. Thank you so much. Take care, all of you. Any questions, you can always drop us a message or mail us. We'll be happy to answer them. Bye bye.